Welcome back to the Ross Bolen podcast. I am Ross Bolen here once again with Big Balls, Jared Borislow, a.k.a. J-Bone Big Balls, a.k.a. Daddy Bone Giant Sack.
Okay. Thank you. That's what they call me.
You're welcome. Jared, Hanukkah has begun.
Yeah, you stuck this menorah in front of me without asking.
We're trying to be the most pro-Jewish podcast in the world.
To be clear, the reason why I pointed out that Ross didn't ask me to put the menorah there is because I am Jewish.
Yeah.
It seems like he was assuming. It's not because I'm not Jewish and I don't want to be anywhere near a menorah.
I'm just forcing it upon you, though.
Yeah, you are. It's like, you know.
Like if you put a big cross in front of me.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, honestly.
This is like a look how diverse we are as a company move.
Look,
here's the Jewish guy with this menorah.
As a guy who spent thousands of dollars on Yeezys over the years, I'm trying to offset that.
You're overcompensating.
I am, but I'm admitting to it, so it's not like I'm not self-aware. I'm really trying my best to offset that because, as I tweeted recently at WR Bolen on Twitter, every time I walk into my closet now, I doubt my judgment as a man a little bit more.
Okay.
Like I feel it's shame is what I'm dealing with. Shame. You know?
If you want to really prove that you love the Jews, go pull up the Hanukkah prayer, like the main one, and I would love to hear you try to say it.
No, I'm not doing that. Christmas is also around the corner. Are you ready for the holiday madness, Jared?
No, I'm not.
Have you done your shopping?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's mainly what I mean.
My family everybody in the family gets everybody else in the family a present. And,
right.
And this is the first year where I was like, I don't think we can do this anymore in the future. I don't want to have to buy stuff every year. There seems to be another member of my family. Now I've got a nephew.
Oh yeah.
You know, and there's always people coming in.
Oh, you mean your extended family?
My siblings, parents, and then nephews and nieces.
And
I have to buy a present for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep doing it until we all agree. Like, oh, what I'm gonna do is Secret Santa. You know, like I think Secret Santa is better. You just get one present for one person.
I'm a fan of Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Haven't done it in a long time, but I'm a fan of it. It's supposed to be absolutely brutally cold here in Austin, Texas, starting on Thursday. I know it's supposed to be cold everywhere. It's like covering the country, but we have something coming called a flash freeze.
Yeah.
Which I think is where it drops 50 degrees in under an hour. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into another snowpocalypse disaster where the power grid fails.
It's a very funny forecast to look at because it's like, oh, the high on Thursday is 62. The low on Friday is 16.
16.
What the fuck?
Good fun.
It's going from 62 directly down to 16 in like a matter of minutes.
It's not great. I've been stocking up on firewood just in case. What did you, since you're traveling for the holiday, what did you ask for from Santa Claus this year?
I asked for a, those key organizers. This is how old I'm getting.
I asked for pants, Jared. So whatever you asked for can't be lamer than that.
You know those like key organizers, like a keychain, but it's like one thing, and you can stick 6 keys in it, and it's like because
how many keys do you have? You have a storage unit?
I actually do.
No shit.
Yeah. So what happens is when you're like walking, sometimes if you're wearing like a thinner pair of pants with a thin pocket,
sure,
these keys will just stab you in the thigh.
Yeah.
And this key organizer keeps all your keys neatly in there in a non-sharp little way.
I carry a backpack every day.
You do, yeah. It's very, very elementary school of you.
It is. I feel like a child, but it is my version of a purse mainly because I don't want to carry my wallet. I don't understand you people who have your wallet in your back pocket under your ass. When you sit, you're like completely uneven.
I don't understand who can do that because I can't do it. I have a big ass.
I definitely can't do it. My tiny ass it just doesn't work.
Well, you and I both can't do it. So what kind of ass do you have to be able to do this?
I don't know.
Medium ass?
We've got the whole spectrum of asses on this podcast, and for some reason, neither of us can pull it off. But also, for the reason you just described, which when you got like 4 or 5 keys on your keychain, that shit in your pocket is absolutely miserable. Yeah. If you like bump into something, next thing you know, you've been it's like stuck in the side of your thigh. Yeah, you don't want that.
As for that, that's my big ticket item.
Yeah, I've officially reached the point where Christmas is no longer about what I get and more about what I get the kids, like my stepdaughter and soon-to-be-born son. There's just no joy in it for me. Oh, look, pants. And that's what I need. Like, I need pants, but I I just don't. There's nothing fun that I can ask for anymore. I'm 35 years old. If I want something fun, I buy it for myself. I'm not going to wait and then ask my parents for it or whatever on Christmas.
Do you ever do the combo present? Because part of the reason I'm not really, getting too many things for Christmas is because I did a combo present.
You asked for like a stove?
No, I got a bike, which was a combo birthday, Christmas, birthday, Christmas, Hanukkah present.
Okay.
So it's like rather than, getting a bunch of smaller stuff that I don't really know
What the hell kind
about.
of bicycle did you? I guess bikes are really expensive.
Yeah, bikes are pretty expensive. Yeah, just in general.
Yeah.
A new bike.
Speaking of that, months ago, my plan was to get the whole family bicycles. I completely forgot and didn't.
No, just get.
So hopefully neither my stepdaughter or wife is listening to this show right now as I am just reminding them live. Well, he can't. Well, I guess technically he could, but he didn't know about the bike.
Wait, you don't have your son listening to Beethoven through the stomach?
Nah.
You have to do that.
I'm not even talking to him enough. I've just kind of been ignoring him. Yeah. He's just in there like, hello, somebody entertain me. It's not me. I need to be doing that more, though.
Yeah, you should be.
Anyway, we'll talk more holiday stuff later in the episode. But first, it's time for insane headlines of the day. Because I love insane headlines. First one. Brace yourself. A Texas police officer who once gave a homeless man a feces sandwich has been fired again after an outpouring of anger. Here's the story from Business Insider. A Texas police officer who first lost his job in 2016 after giving a homeless man a feces sandwich has been fired by a second Texas police department, reports said. Lockhurst, was the name of the officer, was first terminated by the San Antonio police in 2016 after an internal investigation determined that he placed feces between two slices of bread and gave it to a homeless man while on duty. The police officer won an appeal over the feces sandwich incident due to a local government code that prevents officers from being disciplined for conduct occurring over 180 days ago. I'm assuming they've changed that at this point.
You would have to think.
But holy shit, that is one hell of a loophole for the cops in San Antonio. He was later given a second indefinite suspension following an investigation into a separate incident in which he allegedly failed to flush feces down a toilet in the women's restroom at the downtown bike patrol office and spread a, quote, brown tapioca-like substance, end quote, on the seat. Lockhurst took responsibility for the toilet incident, but said it was a prank and apologized, quote, in hindsight, it was immature. That's what he said at his hearing. In hindsight, it was immature.
This guy's got a poop thing.
Yeah, this guy's weird. First of all, giving an actual shit sandwich to anyone that is not a pledge in a fraternity is not okay. And then, why dropping a deuce in the women's restroom and then not even using, it's like he dropped the shit, didn't flush, and then he took some type of tapioca-like substance and smeared it around the bowl to make it look like.
It's a snack pack.
But why wouldn't you just use if you're going that far, it's like, be real with it. Do the shit. Rub the shit on the seat. Tapioca-like substance. What the fuck?
This man has a thing with poop. He's got a fetish.
He's got several issues, it would seem.
We've talked a lot about people getting in trouble for making people unknowingly eat body excrement. There was, remember the
cinnamon rolls with the jism?
No, it was crepes.
Crepes?
It was sperm crepes at a school's international day.
Yeah. Gross.
Disgusting. And the poop one, that's just that I can't get over that. He just said was he trying to act nice? Like, oh, hey, I see you're a man who's currently homeless. Here's a sandwich, and it was poop between two pieces of Wonder Bread.
I don't know what kind of human being would have that happen to them and think that was a nice gesture. What a nice guy. No, he wasn't trying to be nice. He was being an asshole. He was seeing if he could get a homeless person to eat a shit sandwich, which is not right.
Do you think it was his poop, or it's just
I have to assume, unless he commandeered poop from someone else.
Do you actually think there's anybody who could think he was trying to give this man sustenance? Here's my poop.
I just can't believe they caught him and they were like, "You're in deep trouble now." What was his name? Fucking Luckhurst. You're in deep trouble now, Luckhurst. And then he was like, "Not so fast." It was more than 180 days ago, and they went, "Damn it. Can't get you for that." Of course, when he did get in trouble again, he did not win his appeal for the toilet incident. He did appeal it. I guess you just have to appeal anything you get caught for as a cop. The arbitrator assigned to the case decided that SAPD Chief William McManus was justified in terminating Luckhurst, citing the, quote, egregious nature of Luckhurst's conduct aimed at women, which seems fair. He was later hired, though, by the police department in Floresville, Texas. And the city's mayor there received an outpouring of emails from locals who were unhappy that Luckhurst had been reemployed as a police officer after the two shit incidents. And as such, he had to release a statement saying, Matthew Luckhurst was released from employment with the Floresville Police Department yesterday, December 13th, so about a week ago now. Mm-hmm. And that was it for him. Hopefully, permanently as a cop, he should be forced to work in like janitorial services in a college dorm. That would be like a fitting punishment.
Like Mark Wahlberg and the other guys.
That's a like low-key underrated comedy, I think.
A lot of people like that.
It's not credited as much as it should be.
I mean, Marky Mark, nobody goes like from liked to hated more rapidly than him. He'll just do one thing and it's like, oh, public sentiment is completely against Mark Wahlberg. Well, and the next thing he does, everybody loves him again.
He's an example of one of those guys where if he just did movies and never opened his mouth outside of that to claim like that he could have stopped 9/11 or that he's never masturbated or to say the absurd, encouraging, inspirational things he says in his workout videos where he's like making his friends dance at 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's weird.
If not for that stuff, he'd be really likable, but he's a psychopath.
Yeah, he did claim he would stop 9/11, I believe.
Yes, he did. He suggested that if he had been on one of the flights, 9/11 wouldn't have happened because he would have stopped it, all of it. Somehow, all 3 planes.
He would have got on the radio and started like talking to the other planes and some. Yeah, Mark, you kind of need to elaborate on that. How you would stop the entire operation and not just like one part of it.
Incredible career though on screen
and in music.
Yeah, well, that's debatable, but yeah. Next headline. Lionel Messi's post celebrating Argentina's World Cup win is now the most liked post in Instagram history, breaking a nearly 4-year-old record held by a photo of... Do you remember it?
Was it the Ellen DeGeneres?
Nope.
The selfie with like Ellen DeGeneres and all those other people?
No, it's much worse. It was the egg. You remember the egg?
I forgot about the egg.
Yeah, the world record-seeking egg. So here's the story. As of Tuesday morning on the East Coast, Messi's post had 61.1 million likes, 4.5 million more than the egg, which was a novelty photo posted in January 4th, 2019. All right, and it was the whole point of this egg. There was a golden egg. The whole point was for it to become the most liked post in Instagram history. And everyone caught wind of this. It went completely viral. It was just world record egg, world_record_.
Oh, well, that's not a golden egg. That's just a brown egg.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Do you like brown eggs? What egg color do you use, brown or white?
White, but what's the difference? Isn't it just like... You know, with humans, it's the exact same, just an outside color change.
I don't think there's any different. I think it's just, like different colored chickens lay different colored eggs.
Based on the chicken?
I think.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Type of chicken?
You know what? I feel like I've seen one chicken lay multiple different colored eggs, too.
Like you watched it lay eggs?
Like I've
two different colored eggs popped out?
I've looked into a nest, and there were different colored eggs within one nest.
Okay.
You know, robins lay blue eggs.
Really?
Their eggs are blue.
Do cardinals lay red eggs?
No.
Bummer. Sad. The total likes on Messi's photo at the time of the column, anyway, would amount to 0.8% of the world population, and a figure greater than the populations of nations such as South Africa, Italy, and South Korea. 61.1 million people. The post includes 10 photos from the celebration and thanked Messi's family and the people of Argentina. He obviously, Messi, the little magician as he's known, scored 2 goals. That's my favorite nickname of his, by the way. I know he has a few now, but that's...
The Little Magician?
The Little Magician is an incredible nickname. Scored 2 goals in Argentina's final win over France in a penalty shootout, a game that many now regard as the greatest soccer game ever played. I'm assuming you watched the World Cup final.
Of course, yes.
Good Lord. I bet on France, mostly because I wanted Argentina to win, like many people did, for the sake of Messi.
Yeah.
And I know sports to be cruel and punishing, so I faded myself.
Yeah.
That's what that's called. And I ended up betting on France. And I wasn't even mad. That was the beauty of it. I made the right decision. I was not even upset when it ended. Well, I guess I made the wrong decision still, but because I lost money. But the point is, I wasn't even mad because it was so fucking amazing. I could not believe that France came back at all. They were down 2-0.
They came back twice from 2 goals down and then 1 goal down.
Came back 2-0. Argentina scored again. Then they scored again. And Mbappe, probably the greatest name in sports history.
Here's the thing.
Mbappe.
Yeah. Here's the thing about
Shout out to Hansen.
Here's the thing about him.
Uh-huh.
Scored a hat trick in a World Cup final and lost.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But also, it's nice he's not going to get the finger pointed at him.
He scored 4 goals if you include his penalty shootout.
True. Did everything he could.
No, nobody's pointing the finger at him. I'd say the people to point the finger at would be Dembele. He's the guy who the first penalty, and they first got to get subbed off. 40 minutes in, they're like, dude, you're a turd out there. We actually have that on the soundboard somewhere, but I'm not going to find it in time.
Just a turd out there.
He was bad. Giroud, I feel bad for Giroud because he was like one of the best strikers in the tournament, and they subbed him out at 40 because Deschamps was clearly doing an entire strategy change that no longer involved having a tall striker to do crosses to because they're like, we're not just going to waste our time doing crosses.
I saw the French Football Federation actually having to stand up and tell people to please stop attacking Mbappe and the first man you mentioned who missed the penalty kick with racist attacks on social media.
Yeah, that happens all the time. It happened when England lost in penalty kicks in the Euro final to Italy. Marcus Rashford and Bukayo Saka, I believe, were getting racist attacks.
I can't tell if soccer is just the most racist sport or it's the one that they point the spotlight onto racism.
It's the most global sport, so it's also the most racist sport because all humans are racist.
People do forget this shit, though. Like, I always feel like racism in the United States is obviously awful, but then I pay attention to soccer for 2 weeks, and I'm like, Jesus fucking God, it's really, really bad elsewhere.
It's terrible, yeah.
Holy shit. Not that it's funny, but,
it's unbelievable.
Weird reminder that it's so ridiculously widespread and international and all over the damn planet. Because like you said, the humans just can't stop hating each other because of race.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally idiotic. But yeah, crazy amount of likes on an Instagram post there.
Did you like it?
No, but I did like the egg. When I pulled up the egg photo to see, to remind myself of it, my name's right there, yeah. Liked by W.R. Bolen and 57,289,937 others.
Do you think Messi deserves to unseat the egg?
Yes, I'm frankly shocked that it took this long for someone to unseat the stupid fucking egg. But that just shows you how many people got onto this egg being the biggest post of all time on Instagram. Like, everyone.
Can you name another deserving picture? Like, or like moment.
I can tell you that Ellen moment you brought up earlier from the Academy Awards has aged like dog shit. Like 3 of the people in it have been canceled.
Wait, who's in that? It's Ellen.
What's the name of the dude from the movie where he was, or not the movie, the show on Netflix where he was the president?
Oh, Kevin Spacey's in that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not. Okay, now I actually feel like I need to pull
He got canceled. Ellen got canceled, sort of, right?
Okay, here we go.
She created a bad workplace environment.
Here's everybody in this that I can immediately identify.
I know Bradley Cooper's in there.
Bradley Cooper is in there. Brad Pitt is in there as well. Is that Angelina Jolie?
A couple of hot Bradleys there.
Kevin Spacey, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, uncanceled. And then a few people. One of them looks like half of Russell Brand's face, but I don't know why it would be Russell Brand. Oh no, it's not Russell Brand. It's Jared Leto.
Oh yeah,
I think he got canceled, right?
He did. I don't know. I don't think he's been actually canceled. He's just a fucking weird cat.
Yeah.
But he does look like Russell Brand when he's got the facial hair and the long hair.
Yeah, he does. And then Channing Tatum is the other person I can identify.
If they smiled, you'd tell the difference pretty easily. But yeah. Channing Tatum, yeah, he was in there too. Big win for Channing Tatum. It's not his.
I was thinking about him last night.
His level.
Why
were you, what? Channing Tatum? I hope it's, out of all the people in that group you could have been thinking about last night, it would be the least uncomfortable to me.
No, because I was on Apple TV and She's the Man with Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum popped up.
Okay.
And I always think a couple things about Channing Tatum. Number one, hot, obviously. Number two, he's from Tampa.
Oh, Florida boy.
Yeah. He's from my area.
I think of 21 Jump Street and Magic Mike.
What kind of name is Channing? Imagine naming your kid Channing.
It's a stripper name.
Yeah, which he was in real life and then in a movie.
Yeah. No shame in that. I'm just saying.
No, but Channing. What kind of name? What kind of name is that?
Sounds like a verb.
Yeah,
for like a way you cook some kind of a
that's
food.
That's an adverb, right? Or is that Lee? That's Lee. What's ing?
I was out there channing my ass off.
I guess ing is just a verb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Channing. What would it mean to chan?
Like I'm thinking of Jackie Chan and like drop kicking somebody.
Mm-hmm. God, what an amazing actor, Jackie Chan.
Dude, Rush Hour is still an unbelievable film. By the way, they're trying to make a fourth, and they've got to stop doing this. Like, I get it. There's money to be had, whatever. but they've got to stop just destroying classics by creating too many sequels. And what is the third called?
Rush Hour 3.
No, but what do you call it? You know, how if there's a second one of a movie, it's the sequel. What is the third-quel?
Triquel?
Tripod? Who knows? But they got to stop this shit. It's getting out of control.
Trilogy.
Yeah, but is it the third movie is not called the trilogy?
Well, then
That's
the whole
all
thing
of
is
them.
the trilogy.
Right. But I always struggle with this.
Yeah.
Like usually when I'm referencing Lord of the Rings, because I'm a big fat dork, I say
Maybe you do call it the
first one, the sequel, and then the third one is the triumphant.
Maybe it is called the trilogy. I don't know.
Maybe. But they got to stop. Rush Hour 1, awesome.
Rush Hour 2 is great.
Solid. Jackie Chan kicked so much ass. I'm betting that there are a lot of racial jokes in Rush Hour 1 that haven't aged very well. By PC culture standards.
I saw Chris Tucker do stand-up in 2009.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he good?
It was good.
Okay.
I think that was right after. He was bankrupt or he was out of acting in the public eye for a few years, and he did a stand-up tour when he came back.
That's why he's trying to do the fourth movie, because I don't know how much money he's got left.
Yeah. I wish he was in more. I like Chris Tucker.
Anyway, congratulations to Lionel Messi for multiple reasons. Mainly the Instagram post.
He got to meet Salt Bae.
Dude, that was funny as hell. Him shunning Salt Bae repeatedly. By the way, I didn't like Salt Bae before, and I've seen how much he charges for his shit, and that's absolutely absurd. But now I despise him.
His name is Salt Bae.
Why is he down there on the field hassling all these guys, man?
Why does his name have Bae in it?
Because he's an asshole.
Salt Bae.
He's just a fucking asshole.
Think about what this man. He got the most topical, timely nickname of all time that had Bae in it. A name that nobody says seriously anymore. Was always kind of a joke, but now it's so cringe that it's not even a joke anymore.
It's upsetting, is what it is.
And now this guy's name forever is Salt Bae.
Just because he sprinkled salt from a high?
And is
What a fucking idiot.
the idea that he's hot? He's sexy?
I think that was...
if he was, then he's not now.
It strikes me as a self-applied nickname like Kobe Bryant did with the Black
the
Mamba.
internet definitely gave him Salt Bae.
Okay.
That video of him went viral doing this salt sprinkling.
The fucking form on the sprinkle makes it look like a swan arm.
It goes down his arm and it
dribbles. There's a trickle?
Yeah, it dribbles down your chin.
Why does it dribble down his fucking arm? I don't want my salt having touched this random dude's arm.
Yeah, but he's Salt Bae.
Not good, Jared. Speaking of sports, today's episode is also brought to you by MyBookie, our online sportsbook and casino sponsor here on the Ross Bolen podcast. If you're looking for a place to get all the action you can handle this college football bowl season, or on the NBA, NFL, golf, MMA, boxing, or whatever, all your sports betting needs are taken care of at MyBookie.ag. They've got all the prop bets, live lines, alternate lines, and futures that you could possibly need, plus the online casino with live roulette, blackjack, and more. And for a limited time only, join the MyBookie family using the code ROSS, as in my name, ROSS, at checkout, and you'll support the podcast. You'll receive a deposit bonus instantly, giving you even more dough to throw at your favorite sporting event as well. The website is awesome on desktop and mobile. It's incredibly easy to use, beautifully laid out. College football bowl season is one of the most popular betting seasons of the year, obviously, with games pretty much every single day except Sundays from now through the new year. So if you're already betting on sports elsewhere and are down to do so on a great platform that also supports your favorite podcast, code ROSS at MyBookie.ag is the way to do it, folks. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, code ROSS when you sign up. Enjoy your college football bowl season. And now, Jared, if you would, because I didn't warn you ahead of time, could you cue up the Stuff to Wikipedia When You're High music?
Grab your light. This is Stuff to Wikipedia When You're High.
Stuff to Wikipedia when you're high.
Today's Stuff to Wikipedia When You're High is Margaret Howe Lovett. Lovat? L-O-V-A-T-T. How would you say that? Lovat?
I feel like it's one of those things where it's spelled weird, but it's said normal.
Okay. Margaret Howe Lovett is a former volunteer naturalist from St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. In the 1960s, she took part in a NASA-funded research project in which she attempted to teach a dolphin named Peter to understand and mimic human speech. The story gets wilder. Just strap in for this one. As a child, she was inspired by a book called Miss Kelly, a story about a cat who communicated with humans. This inspired her to research teaching animals to speak human language. When she was in her early 20s, Lovett lived on the Caribbean island of St. Thomas, where there was a laboratory to research dolphins. The director of the laboratory, Gregory Bateson, allowed her to observe dolphin behavior and was impressed by her enthusiasm and diligence as an observer despite her lack of scientific training, which seems problematic. While volunteering at the laboratory, she met John C. Lilly, a neuroscientist with the California Institute of Technology. He was building a research laboratory with funding from NASA and the United States Navy with the goal of speaking to extraterrestrial life forms, which is interesting because that makes me feel like they've known about extraterrestrial life forms for quite a while, if they were funding a research facility to try and communicate with them.
Let me see them aliens.
Yeah. In order to simulate this situation, he built a dolphinarium, a dolphin house flooded with water on St. Thomas. It was basically a house that they flooded and stuck dolphins in it. There, Lily accommodated 3 dolphins, 2 females named Sissy and Pamela, and 1 younger male bottlenose dolphin named Peter. All of them were taken from Marine Studios and had been co-starring in the television show Flipper.
Okay.
You'll remember that Jared famously starred in the on-screen movie Dolphin Tale.
Yep.
Yeah. In 1964, the Dolphinarium was fully functional, and as Lily was often traveling, he assigned Lovett to train the dolphins. The goal of the Dolphinarium experiment was to teach dolphins human language. Over a period of 2 years, Lily and Lovett, both with very different approaches, tried to prove that human language could be mimicked by dolphins. Lovett reasoned that if she lived with the dolphins and made human-like sounds similar to how a mother teaches her child to speak, they would have more success. Again, a lack of scientific training is in play here. She tried speaking slowly and changing the pitch of her tone to help Peter's a dolphin, pronounce the words that she wanted him to learn. Lovett and the pubescent male dolphin Peter spent all of their time together in the isolated Dolphinarium, where she documented Peter's progress with her twice-daily sessions and encouragement to say the words, "Hello, Margaret." According to Lovett, the M sound was extremely difficult for Peter to pronounce without making bubbles in the water. Which is unfortunate because it's the first sound in the name she was trying to get him to fucking learn.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how an animal, let's say, I guess a cow does it.
Because you know what a dolphin normally sounds like? That's what a dolphin sounds like.
But a cow, she should have been doing this with a cow. They know the M sound.
The only person that can speak to a dolphin is Ace Ventura, and everybody knows that.
What about Dr. Dolittle?
And Dr. Dolittle. 2 people can speak to dolphins, Ace Ventura and Dr. Dolittle.
Jim Carrey and Eddie Murphy. Everybody knows this.
Back to the story. Peter, being an adolescent dolphin, frequently had sexual urges, and that's where things take a dark turn. He would rub himself on Lovett. Essentially, she was having to crank off a dolphin when he would get too horny.
She had to do that?
She felt she had to. I'll put it that way. But yeah, so I'm just going to read the sentence again. Peter, being an adolescent dolphin, frequently had sexual urges, which included rubbing himself on Lovett. The urges disrupted Peter's lessons, and taking Peter to a downstairs pool with 2 female dolphins proved to be a logistical issue for Lovett. I'm assuming she was like, well, if I just take him down to the other 2 dolphins that are female, he can fuck them, and then he'll feel better.
But it's hard to move a dolphin, I suppose?
Logistically difficult, apparently. Eventually, Lovett relieved Peter's urges herself, stating, quote, "It wasn't sexual on my part. Sensuous, perhaps. It seemed to me that it made the bond closer, not because of the sexual activity, but because of the lack of having to keep taking breaks. And that's really all it was. I was there to get to know Peter. That was part of Peter. It was Peter's Peter, in fact." To continue her quote, "It would just become part of what was going on, like an itch, just to get rid of the scratch, and we would be done and move on." That's how my wife feels about sex, too. An article titled "Interspecies Sex, Humans and Dolphins" appeared in the magazine Hustler that dramatized the situation and reflected badly on their research. Now, here's the thing. I'm not understanding how dramatized or otherwise, it could have reflected well upon their research, because this was a woman having to masturbate an adolescent dolphin.
So that he would say her name.
Margaret. He couldn't get past the M, though. Probably because he kept coming. Other problems, this is amazing that this is a sentence. Other problems arose surrounding the project. How is that? In addition to Lovett's animal communication research, Lilly had been funded to research the effects of the drug LSD. Lilly had been testing the effects of the drug on subject dolphins with no results. Since neither his communication experiments nor his LSD research were proving fruitful, Lilly's dolphinarium eventually lost all funding. So it's like one day somebody came down from NASA and the Navy and was like, all right, Lilly, let's see what you've been doing. And they went in and they found Peter high as balls on LSD getting jacked off by Margaret. That's what they paid for. So they were like, we're going to go ahead and pull the funding here because this is an absurd waste of money. What the fuck? Unbelievable. It says, this is where it gets even more fucked up. It gets even more fucked up. Dude, it gets even more fucked up. In smaller tanks, and since the building lacked sunlight and space, Peter quickly deteriorated and eventually ended his life by drowning. He fucking killed himself.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dolphin activist Rick O'Barry explains, quote, dolphins are not automatic air breathers like we are, like humans. Every breath is a conscious effort. If life becomes too unbearable, the dolphins just take a breath and they sink to the bottom and they don't take the next breath. And that's what Peter did. So the LSD apparently did not have a good effect on him.
Do you think they do tours of this place in the U.S. Virgin Islands?
I'm going to guess it's gone. Right? You got to burn that thing to the ground. I mean, that's just an evil place inhabited by all manner of bad vibes. What the hell, though, Margaret? Lovett's experiments and her relationship with Peter the Dolphin were documented in Christopher Riley's documentary, The Girl Who Talked to Dolphins, which I think should have been named The Girl Who Jacked Off Dolphins and Drugged Them. The Girl Who Drugged and Jacked Off Dolphins. That's a documentary that everyone in the world is watching. That's the next Tiger King.
That. I would have seen that.
Yeah, that would have been on Docking with Jared.
Yeah.
I said Jacking Off Jared. It's not the right segment. Docking with Jared.
It's a different one.
Different segment. Anyway, I still am wrapping my mind around this. It's so ridiculous. One of the funniest stuff to Wikipedia is when you're highs I've ever read. And then I got to the end and I was like, oh my God.
I think
he killed himself. What?
This is not, for me, the most outrageous stuff to Wikipedia when you're high is still Nasubi.
Which one was that?
That was the Japanese game show.
Oh my God.
Guy who didn't know he was on it and was naked, and you know the rest.
Oh yeah.
If you don't remember that one, I don't even know what we called that episode.
I bet I can find it real quick.
Nasubi was unbelievable. It's this guy who was unknowingly a contestant on a game show in Japan for like years, multiple years, and they kept stringing him along. He had no idea, and it's
pretty
truly
fucked up.
like this story. You heard about all the messed up stuff the U.S. government did.
Oh yeah.
The Nasubi story, I cannot believe is real, and it's also way more recent than you'd expect.
The episode is titled, with the one where we discuss Nasubi, is titled "People Are Not for Eating," because we also discuss America's obsession with serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, and another gender reveal gone wrong. And Russia and China utilizing Meta to influence American politics, and Kanye West bedazzled thong sandals because it was before he derailed into an area of cancellation that he will never recover from.
Don't you miss back when the craziest Kanye story of the day was him making bedazzled thong sandals?
I really, really do. And that wasn't that long ago. We went so quickly from that to where we are now. Also, I'm not sure why, but like when you Google the Ross Bolen podcast, Nasubi, Nasubi, the first link that pops up is for Apple Podcasts, but it's for Apple Podcasts in some Arabic country because all of it's like there's half the words on the page are in not English. So
maybe that episode crushed over there.
I guess it did. Anyway, Margaret Howe Lovett. That was our stuff to Wikipedia when you're high for today. Today's episode is also brought to you by Trade Coffee. The holidays are here, so if you're looking for a last-minute gift for your loved ones, look no further than a personalized coffee subscription from Trade Coffee. We are big coffee boys here at Bolen Media, so we love Trade Coffee and all the new blends we've been able to try since getting our subscription at the office. Trade Coffee is a coffee subscription service that makes it so simple for you to discover new coffees and make your best cup of coffee at home every day. No fancy equipment required. Trade partners with the nation's top operated independent roasters to send you coffee that they know you'll love, fresh to your home and on your preferred schedule. And you get to support small local businesses. It's a win-win. Whether you already know what you like or are new to specialty coffee and need some help, Trade makes it easy and convenient to discover new coffees. They'll send you ground coffee or whole beans, however you make your coffee at home. So whether you're just getting started or a coffee aficionado looking to discover something new, Trade guarantees you'll love your first bag, or they will send you a new one for free. Our latest blend from Trade Coffee is Colombia, chock full of that nutty sweetness we love in a Colombian coffee. A perfectly balanced cup that has become my daily drinker with hints of nut, milk chocolate, citrus. It's from Necessary Coffee in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it's delicious. It says, fresh from the Andes on the bag, Jared. Treat yourself or the coffee lover in your life with Trade Coffee. Right now, Trade is offering our listeners a total of $30 off a subscription and access to limited-time holiday specials at drinktrade.com/RBP. That's DRINKTRADE, drinktrade.com/RBP for $30 off, drinktrade.com/RBP. As many of you know, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is the 1992 classic, A Muppet Christmas Carol, starring the Muppets, of course, and Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. And if you've never seen the film and you're asking yourself, Michael Caine, who plays Alfred in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies? Yes, that Michael Caine. And you might think that sounds funny as hell or silly, but one of my favorite viral tweets of all time, which is now a meme that makes the rounds every holiday season and gets sent to me at least 50 times as Christmas approaches each year, pretty perfectly describes the way Michael Caine handled the assignment of playing Scrooge in this Muppet movie, all right? And in the meme, in the tweet, it says, director. Okay, so it's a Christmas Carol, but with Muppets, so, feel free to have fun with it. Be a little silly. And Michael Caine responds, I'm going to play this entire thing as serious as a car accident. And seriously, he should have been nominated for Best Actor at the 1992 Academy Awards for this performance. At absolutely no point does it become evident he is acting opposite Kermit the fucking Frog and Miss Piggy. These are hand puppets as co-stars, okay? And he delivers every line like he's in the most serious and dramatic role ever. In a 2015 article in The Guardian, director Brian Henson, who's the son of Jim Henson, actually revealed that Michael Caine had no intention of giving a funny performance at any point. He said, quote, I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company, Caine told him. He said, I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety, which is just a phenomenal verb. He said, I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role. And Brian Henson enthusiastically agreed, and they had creative freedom to make this movie. So basically, that's the way it went. And have you ever watched this?
Nope.
Why not, Jared?
I'm 30.
I know. See, that's the thing I'm trying to explain to you, though. It is not a kid's movie. Like, it is. Here, I'm going to read you some of the best lines he delivers in this film. A Muppet movie for children, right? Where his co-stars are hand puppets.
Okay.
And he delivers these lines with the seriousness of a car accident. Here's a few. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes around with Merry Christmas on his lips would be cooked with his own turkey and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He says that seriously. Here's another one. Christmas is a very busy time for us, Mr. Cratchit. People preparing feasts, giving parties, spending the mortgage money on frivolities. One might say that December is the foreclosure season, harvest time for the moneylenders. And I'll read you an exchange here between Scrooge and somebody that's trying to collect money for a charity in the holiday season. Dr. Benson Honeydew, who is a Muppet. I want to be very clear about this. There are two people in this conversation I'm about to read you. One of them is Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, who is a Muppet, and the other one is Michael fucking Caine playing Ebenezer Scrooge. Dr. Bunsen says, at this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, many of us feel we must take care of our poor and homeless. And Scrooge responds, Are there no prisons? No poorhouses? And Dr. Bunsen says, oh, plenty of those, sir. And Scrooge says, oh, excellent. For a moment, I was worried. And Dr. Bunsen says, some of us are endeavoring to raise a fund for the poor and the homeless. What might I put you down for? And Scrooge replies, nothing. Dr. Bunsen says, you wish to remain anonymous? And he says, I wish to be left alone. And then he ejects them from his office. Again, I watched this movie for the first time when I was 5 years old, probably. No, that's not right. I was probably 8. I was 5 when it came out. I don't think I watched it till I was slightly older. But some of the themes that it addresses are like very, very. It's a very adult Muppet movie, if that's possible. This is it. What if I paid you to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still haven't seen A Nightmare Before Christmas either.
It's solid.
You had it on. You had it
to
on
be-
the other day, and it looks just weird.
It's Tim Burton. You kind of have to be a Tim Burton person to really enjoy Nightmare Before Christmas. I like the music in it. I like the visuals are fucking creepy. Like you wouldn't want to watch that high, I don't think. But it's okay. This is not that. But it's like, dude, I watched a Muppet Christmas Carol this morning, and before leaving to work.
Why did you do that?
I hadn't watched it. Why did
you wake up and just start watching a Muppet Christmas Carol?
Because I've already watched Home Alone 2, and that's where I stop because 3 is a travesty. Again, another example of like Hollywood just not knowing when to fucking walk away. I watched Christmas Vacation. I watched It's a Wonderful Life. I watched Nightmare Before Christmas the other day here. I watched Bad Santa at work one day while I was writing the show to get some. That's another. I'm basically naming all my favorite Christmas movies right now, but I'd kind of run out of, and I hadn't hit Muppet Christmas Carol yet. I've been holding off for the reason that I'm about to explain to you. It makes me cry, like weep. They get to the part where, are you aware of A Christmas Carol? Are you aware of the story? I don't want to throw spoilers at you here. There's a kid named Tiny Tim, and he's sick.
Yes, I know Christmas Carol.
Do you know what happens to Tiny Tim? Okay, well, there's a point in the movie where Michael Caine, as as Ebenezer Scrooge, he's creeping around with a ghost, one of the ghosts. I think a ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, or the Christmas.
Who was
whatever.
that? Swedish Chef?
Okay, best part. They named the Marley brothers, you know, the ghosts that come and haunt him. I think it's only one ghost in A Real Christmas Carol. It's his former business partner, Jacob Marley. Well, they use the 2 old men that heckle everyone from up. They use them as the Marley brothers. Guess what the other Marley's name is? Robert, as in Bob Marley. Because that's the level of childish humor that you're dealing with A Muppet Christmas Carol, except that Michael Caine plays the role of Ebenezer Scrooge as if he is trying to win an Academy Award for Best Actor. It's fucking outrageous. Like, it is an experience. But there's a part where he thinks Tiny Tim has died, and it is heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Also, random story about A Muppet Christmas Carol while we're here. So there's this one part in the movie where he takes him to this Christmas, the ghost of Christmas past, which is like a little floating fairy, which I'm not familiar with as a Muppet.
Miss Piggy?
No, Miss Piggy's married to Tiny Tim's dad, who is played by Kermit the Frog. Such a good movie. I'm telling you. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. It's not a bit.
What Tiny?
All right, but just
what
listen.
does Tiny Tim look like? Some crazy frog pig hybrid?
He's just a frog. That's the weird thing. It doesn't really make sense because here's the thing.
Like
Tiny Tim, pure frog, has 2 sisters, pure pig. So there's Tiny Tim, who's a frog, and there's 2 sisters who are both full pig.
So it's like if you're
a boy, you come out a frog. If you're a girl, you come out a pig. That's what happens between Kermit and Miss Piggy mating in this film. Okay.
Is there any other? Is that the only time we ever see their children?
I think so. It's pretty cool. I'm assuming because after they made this movie, they were like, "Yeah, we can't do that again."
Can you do impressions of any
problematic? No, I can't. But listen. Listen. There's a part where the ghost of Christmas Past takes Scrooge to his past, and you find out he had a fiance who's a real human being, not a Muppet. And just for clarity, real person. And basically, long story short, she breaks up with Scrooge because he's too focused on work and being a businessman. And then she sings this song called When Love Is Gone that is another piece that will make you cry. And in the streaming version of the film, they cut that scene entirely. Then so many people complained because it no longer made sense. This is a scene that serves to show why Scrooge hates Christmas so much. It was at Christmas time that she dumped him. His fiance bails They cut the fucking scene. So many people freak out. They reinsert the scene, so now it's back in if you watch it on Disney Plus, where it's streaming currently.
Why did they cut it out?
Which everyone should. No fucking clue. But they put it back in. It's like Disney. They over meddle and shit, man. They fuck around too much. Then they put it back in, but they took the song out. Now, here's why it's crazy. Otherwise, it's a pretty good strategic decision. It cuts the movie time down. The song's not really necessary to you finding out that she dumped him, but then the song is the most heartbreaking part of the scene. It's devastating. And the stupidest part about it is they still use that song as the closing credits song. So the credits start to roll, and a version of that song is being sung as it was in the original version of the movie, but that song wasn't in the fucking movie anymore, so you no longer know why the fuck it's being sung. Been pissing me off for like 3 years now, but it just keeps developing even further. First, I was pissed off that they took it away. Now I'm pissed off that they took it away, but they put it back, but they left the song out. Anyway, the good news is...
You care about this more than I care about anything related to Christmas.
Yeah, I care about it a lot, admittedly. And the good news is I still have the original DVD at my mom's house, so whenever I want, I can watch the version that's got all of these things included.
I was worried.
I know. Everybody was worried, Jared. Everybody was. Anyway, this week on Patreon, this is very important. Listen, on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast later in the week, Jared and I will be recounting the first ever annual Bolen Media holiday party, which we held at my house with a hibachi chef that came to my house with the hibachi grill and a propane tank that was in my fucking kitchen, basically. And we had live music, and it was utterly ridiculous. And I'm promising you that this story is worth the $5 that it takes to get on Patreon by itself. I'm not going to give you anything else today other than to say that it was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't know it was going to be ridiculous like it was. That's the other piece of it. It was like shocking for me as the host. I was unaware of how this was going to go down, and it was outrageous.
Yeah, I felt like I was in an episode of Parks and Rec there for about 15 minutes before I got drunk enough to just not care anymore.
Yeah, that's how I felt the whole time, though. So it was really, really strange, and I can't wait to tell it in full with Jared later on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. We'll probably be recording tomorrow or Thursday. When do you leave? Thursday afternoon now?
I'm out Friday, so.
Friday. Maybe we'll record Thursday. And also, we have a big announcement this week on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. An actually big one. I'm not just saying that. It's unrelated to Muppet Christmas Carol or even the holiday party. Big announcement and the recounting of the Bolen Media first annual holiday party on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast later this week.
Get on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. It's less than a cup of coffee because of coffeeflation.
That's true. It is less than a cup of coffee because of coffeeflation.
Guess what? Oh, you're traveling for the holidays. You need to be in the car for a few hours, be in the airport, which sucks, be on a plane, a fart box. If you get on Patreon, if you think you're caught up with RBP,
you're not.
We have like 150 or something episodes.
A lot of episodes.
Of RBP that you
Countless.
Can crush while you're traveling for the holidays. Like, honestly, I envy, I don't really like you that much if you haven't gotten on Patreon yet, but I envy you because you have so much RBP to listen to.
It's a fair argument, Jared. It's a fair point. I also don't like you if you haven't been on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast yet, but I also do envy you because you've got so much left that you can hit this holiday season into 2023. Get on there, support Jared and I, support Bolen Media, patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast later this week. You got the holiday party recounting and the big announcement coming. Follow Jared at Jared Borislow on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at WR Bolen on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow RBP on TikTok at The Ross Bolen Podcast, on Instagram at The Ross Bolen Podcast, and on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. Jared and I will be back later this week on Patreon, and then I will be back next week after Christmas, potentially with Content Cade co-hosting while Jared is on holiday. We will see.
On holiday, down at the down. You like Green Day?
I watched the No, I fucking hate Green Day. I watched the Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers are in the same category for me. I watched The Holiday already, too. That's another Christmas movie.
Who's in that?
Jack Black, the chick from Titanic, Cameron Diaz, Jude Law.
I like Jude Law.
I'm remembering a shocking amount of the cast, honestly. My brain is functioning at a high level today. Perhaps because of the coffee. Tradecoffee.com/RBP. Until next time, peace be with you, and also with you.